Hello and welcome to a Sunday Reflection. My name is Paul Harvey and this is Life, Passion and Business. We're about helping you explore, finding your passion for life and the work that you do. But it's so much more than that. It's about finding clues to the big life questions. What does it mean to be successful? What is the meaning of life? If you're looking for more, then join me on this journey where together we will discover through interviews, tools and tips how to live life full of meaning, passion and purpose. Hello and welcome to my reflection. Now look, today I've got a couple of things for you today. I'm going to explore what I call the gates of change, which is this idea of we choose when we're going to allow ourselves to change. But I also want to explore at the same time today the podcast, the name of the podcast particularly. And I think it'll become clear why I'm doing this as we get closer to the end. Okay, so the podcast started in 2018, in the January of 2018. So we're officially 3 years old, or just over 3 years old. But in reality, it actually started 6 months before. And if you ask anyone about podcasting, they'll all say to you the same thing. You get the idea and it takes you months and months and months to implement it, and then eventually you do. You don't want to release it for some reason, but that's another conversation. So the name Life, Passion and Business came to me, I think, sort of that in that waking sense of the first thing in the morning, as a lot of good ideas do come to me at that point. And I've been thinking about why it came to me in that way. So let's look at this, life, passion and business, and it's kind of a trinity. Life is about balance and colour. It's about all the things that we are. We have life and we live a life, whether we live it consciously or unconsciously, there ain't no choice in it. Life happens until it doesn't. So we are on this journey towards when life for us stops. It was the stopping of my father's life, because he died in the February 28, 2017, that made me evaluate my own life. Because I looked at where he had come from and what he had done and what he hadn't done. And I realised that he had kept himself small by choice. There was sadness in that he had never really found his thing. I mean, he did have interests when he was a younger man, and I think they were passions on some level, but he never took them to the next level. And I digress slightly because I mentioned the word passion and I shouldn't have mentioned it quite yet. So look, life happens. So we can be depressed, we can be happy, we can be sad, we can be joyful, we can be all these things in life. And we can actively choose to live the life we want, and some people do. Or we can actively choose to not live a life. And some people go a life of addiction, where they'll drink themselves into an early grave, or they'll do drugs, or those things, and they are avoiding something in life. They avoid their life. What is the driver and choice between all of those things? Those are the good questions. And those are the questions that I ask people on the podcast. In the same vein that life happens, passion is something that happens to us as a child. It is the start. When we are very small and starting to explore the world, our excitement, our joy, our wonder, our passion in the things around us is very evident for all to see. The utter excitement of new toys or new experiences or friends or all sorts of things is absolutely amazing as a parent to watch. I cannot remember what that felt like as an adult, but I can see it. I could see it in my son. And what is interesting is that he is now a young man and his passions are very much alive. His passions are very much out there in the world. I can remember in his later childhood the joy of receiving a new Lego thing. The absolute fascination and joy of getting this thing and the excitement of putting it together. And I can hear it now in his computer gameplay when he plays with a team or a group, the absolute excitement and joy in achieving something or working together to achieve something. There is absolute passion and the expression of it there. And this thing about passion is a major driver in the human condition. And for me, I think it's the one thing that if we can recover our passion, the gates of change go flying open. Because when we connect with that thing, when we are really engaged with that thing, all the resistance to moving forward and changing evaporates because we want that thing so much. So where does it go? Good question. We'll have a conversation about that in a minute. So life, passion, business. Why did I choose business? I chose business because for me it is about the focus of something. To be in business is the focus of activity to lead to something. But I think business applies to life, to projects, to everything. It's just a word that I chose that was all encompassing. It is the kind of coalescence of everything together to make something happen. So everything to me is about bringing it all together in the business of living. So let's get back to this point of life and passion and living a life with passion or in passion. How do you get back to it and why does it go? My sense of it is that for young children and young people, because everything is new, it is really easy to express and experience a passion because it's about rediscovery, about new discovery. It's about being in something which is totally new and unexperienced. And I think as we age, we start to, our history of failure or, I think failure is a bad word actually, our history of disappointment is what makes the seeking or the following of a passion less attractive, because the disappointment is so hard or so harsh that it makes it not worth actually pushing through. I also suspect there are people who have had trauma and traumas or events in their life which have absolutely blocked them from moving forward. So the question is, how do you recover or reconnect with passion so that you can live the best life you want? I don't think there's one answer to that conversation. I have had people approach me over the last couple of years over this thing, and we've talked about it in coaching, and I've talked about it for many people. I've talked about it with podcast guests. There is no one answer to this because we each are unique individuals with a unique story, and we have to explore that story in our own way. What I can say about it is that you will not think your way back into passion. You can think about some opportunities or some ideas, but you have to implement something to make passion happen. Now, when my father died in 2017, I was in a low point in my life. And his passing got me realizing that he was in a low point or had been low for many years, and I could follow the same path and pattern. And I was determined to find an opportunity or some way out of this. And so I chose a podcast as a way of exploring it. I took some action into that to explore the difference, explore the place, explore other people's journey. And that's where I got to. I think there's lots of opportunity to explore your passion through some of the simple tools of meditation, of writing, of inner journeys, of working in groups, of doing things with other people in terms of identifying where your passions are. A good step sometimes is just to look back in time. Well, what did I enjoy before? One of my passions at the moment is running. And I really cannot tell you what it is about it that I enjoy or why. Because Getting out on a run sometimes is very difficult. But when I run, that can be difficult. But there are times, just occasionally, when I get into a place when I'm running, when everything feels possible. And it's worth all of the pain and discomfort that I have to go to get to that place for me to stick with it. So look, this conversation about the rediscovery of passion is not over. It is at the beginning of a journey, because I'm going to explore this a lot more, and we're going to come up with some tools to help you or help people recover and get back to who they are. It's like the returning home to that place of infinite joy and passion. Wouldn't it be amazing if we could bottle that one? So that's it for this week. If you've got any thoughts on this subject, I'd love to hear it. In the meantime, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you later. All the best.